win ashwood. The garden woke like a harp-string drawn by the first breeze. Pools mirrored palms, lotus opened with the unhurried confidence of women who know beautiful arrivals cause better conversation. Nefertari walked the path of baked clay between beds of blue lilies and silvery sage, sandals whispering. Her crown had the modesty of early morning. Her goal had no such qualms. A pair of ibises patrolled the edges of the water with the air of auditors. "Announce," began the herald behind her, already inhaling for altitude. "Don't," she murmured, without turning. The lilies did not need introductions. The herald, denied his ceremony, emitted a small injured trumpet and settled into a sulk that would later mature into poetry. She paused beneath a pergola latticed with vine and shade. Gardeners moved with temple care through the beds, snipping, watering, persuading. A young boy carried a basket of pomegranate buds, as if it were a treaty. The queen inhaled the mint cool air and decided the day might yet behave. Her inner voice, sharp as a gold chisel, took inventory. Bread ovens are already sighing. Scribes are sharpening the sun into lines, and somewhere the granaries are pretending to be infinite. She plucked a lotus, twirled it, thought of its root in mud and its bloom in sky, and felt the old satisfaction that comes when symbolism minds its manners. Footsteps, sandaled and hesitant. Two courtiers approached with a petition bound in ribbon, eyes lowered as if to protect themselves from beauty-induced errors. They reported shortages in the linen stores for temple singers. Nefertari remembered the last hymn, imperfect but sincere. Also, the singer's sandals were tragic. "Send them linen," she said, "and sandal straps that don't squeak." Her tone suggested that squeaks were a second-order heresy. The herald brightened, glimpsing the possibility of an announcement. Her Majesty Nefertari, beloved of gardens that answer before being asked, she finished, smiling. He bowed, hand on his behalf. A breeze moved through sycamores. The queen admired how the leaves turned their pale undersides toward comfort. Adaptability, she thought, but stylish. She sipped from a cup of barley water. The pottery kept its cool like a trusted secret. Somewhere beyond the palace wall, the city was already bargaining with the day. Nefertari set the lotus behind her ear, a punctuation mark for a sentence only she had read. Time to go in and be inevitable. The throne room held noon, the way a chalice holds wine, with ceremony and intent. Columns painted with marsh flowers rose into a painted sky. Sunlight crossed polished floors in bands, as if Aten himself had decided to practice geometry. Officials arranged themselves according to rank and optimism. The herald, restored to purpose, took center air. Behold, she who is beauty thinking, she who wears peace like perfume and power like silk, she who is seated, Nefertari said, stepping onto the dais. The throne received her with a memory of cedar forests and far journeys. Her collar, a parade of stones, amplified sunlight into policy. Reports unfurled, shipments of cedar delayed by a sailor's melodrama, a foreman requesting more shade canopies for the brickworkers, a scribe insisting the cattle senses had multiplied on the tablet by mere enthusiasm. She listened, eyes cool, mind quick, the way a falcon listens to a field. Her inner voice kept score. Shade is mercy that pays dividends. Grant the canopies, she said, and double the water jars. Let them remember kindness with their knees. A delegation from a provincial shrine brought bread and a complaint. Someone had been diverting good flour to bad cakes in the market. Nefertari dispatched a magi with the humorless face of a measuring rod. Count the loaves, she said. Praise honest bakers in public, and post the price in paint. Bread is sacred, famine is preventable. The herald leaned in. Might I, in a restrained manner, proclaim your justice? You may, she said. He proclaimed with the thunderous delicacy of a monsoon performing ballet. A teasing breeze, the hall's incense lifted like a question with a known answer. A noblewoman admired aloud the queen's collar. Nefertari inclined her head. If they must watch, let them learn, she thought. Adornment is not vanity, it is vocabulary. A city that sees its queen shine believes in the possibility of gleam. An architect unrolled a plan, a colonnade linking the temple forecourt to the sun garden. His lines were good, his enthusiasm unedited. Widen the walkway, she said, tapping the papyrus, so mothers with baskets and dreams may pass each other without apology. And here, shade niches. Beauty that shelters is obeyed. By the time the last ribbon was cut from the last petition, the noon had softened. The herald gathered breath for a closing flourish. Thus has Nefertari decided lunch, she concluded. Laughter rippled through ranks like grain under wind. Power must remember to be human. Otherwise, it is just furniture. Night arrived on cat feet and temple bells. The palace hushed itself into the kind of silence that keeps stories warm. Nefertari lay on linen as cool as the inside of a fig, the ceiling painted with constellations that had never once missed an appointment. Outside, the courtyard pool held a spare moon. Inside, sleep slipped its ring over her finger. In the dream, the desert was a page clean as bone, and on it strode Sekhmet, Lioness, healer, terrible and tender, wearing a sun disk like a vow. The goddess's breath smelled faintly of cedar smoke and antidote. So, Nefertari's thought said to itself, audacious even in dreams, the day sends its supervisor. She bowed with the heart and with the spine. Sekhmet's eyes held noon and thunder. Your city thrives, she said, but prosperity breeds two pests: complacency and accountants with ideas. Nefertari considered the last scribe with an abacus that thought itself divine. We have seen both, she admitted. One yawns, the other itemizes the yawn. The goddess's whiskers twitched, amusement, or the beginning of mercy. Listen, she said, and the desert leaned closer. 3 advices, all disguised as simple. First, keep the bakers honest. Grain is faith in edible form. Where bread is fair, tongues are kinder, and soldiers require fewer speeches. Inspect ovens without warning. Praise publicly. Correct privately. Banish mold. Second, fund shade. Shade is not luxury. It is policy. Shade for workers. Shade for markets. Shade for waiting mothers. A shaded people forgives the sun its excesses, and the throne its taxes. Third, train a herald to mock you. Nefertari blinked. The lioness's grin revealed theology. A ruler who can survive affectionate ridicule cannot be captured by flattery. Let him exaggerate you until the air squeaks. Laugh, and you subtract poison from praise. The queen's inner voice applauded. Yes, it said. Yes to bread, shade, and calibrated mischief. And enemies, she asked, because the ground keeps a ledger separate from the heart. Sekhmet's tail drew a line in the sand that looked suspiciously like a border. Make fewer by feeding them. The remainder you will meet at noon in public with witnesses and water on hand. She glanced skyward where Aten wrote eat in cursive. Also, drink more water yourself. Queens forget. Anything else? Nefertari dared. The lioness considered, then said softly, when you pray, bring thanks before questions. Gods are like doors. Gratitude is a better hinge. She touched the queen's brow with a paw, heavy as truth, light as counsel. Wake, Sekhmet said, and remember me by what you change, not what you carve. The desert page folded into darkness. The palace unfolded into dawn. Day returned like a well-trained falcon. Nefertari rose before the servant's sandals had finished saying good morning to the floor. She dressed with purpose. Collar of lapis and carnelian, because courage and clear thought are fashionable, linen that moved like a breeze with a schedule. The herald hovered, radiant with potential. Announce, he ventured. She smiled with restraint, and aim some of it at me, he flared. Behold, she who is very nearly as magnificent as I am, about to claim. Perfect, she said, granting him a coin of approval. Humor is a dive that pays for peace. They crossed courtyards washed in early light, past storerooms where jars wore seals like sensible jewelry, past kitchens where bread rose modestly to meet its destiny. Outside the temple precinct, vendors arranged figs with domestic piety. Children calibrated their day to the angle of their mother's eyebrows. The temple of Sekhmet refused gloom. Columns wore bouquets. The forecourt blazed with offering tables, set like excellent arguments. Loaves, onions, beer, flowers, goose breast with a persuasive sheen. The priestess approached, eyes lined like good decisions. My lady, she said, you honor the lioness. I owe her shade and bread. Nefertari replied, and a herald with permission to misbehave. The priestess did not blink. Wisdom arranges its face early. They moved beneath the lintel into coolness. In the sanctuary, the goddess stood, lioness head serene, body a geometry of mercy and threat, sun disk bright as a promise kept. Nefertari knelt, palms flat, forehead lowered to stone that remembered kings, and sandals, and spilled beer, and tears. Gratitude arranged itself in her chest, like soldiers in shade. She prayed, not with eloquence. Gods do not require ornaments, but with clarity. Thanks first for the bread that had not failed, for the shade that had multiplied, for laughter that had strengthened spines. Then promises, ovens inspected, markets canopied, a herald encouraged to practice useful irreverence. She asked for nothing she could do herself. When she rose, the priestess placed a garland across her shoulders. Lotus, time, and something wild that smelled like honest work. Ending before heat becomes an argument. Outside, the herald had gathered a small crowd, testing his new mandate. "Behold," he cried, "Nefertari, who is so wise she takes advice even from dreams, and so beautiful that mirrors apply for extra brightness." Laughter. The queen lifted a hand, permission to continue, and the herald bowed theatrically to Sekhmet's door. And thanks to the Lioness, whose roar has been translated into better bread, better shade, and better jokes. Nefertari walked the market street beside the temple wall. Canopies stretched in tidy rows. Vendors blessed the shade with the fluency of the relieved. She tasted a slice of warm bread, honest crumb, good salt, no treachery. At the edge of the square, a group of brick workers lounged under a new reed awning, clay on their hands, gratitude arguing with pride on their faces. She nodded to them. They returned a look that said, "We see you seeing us." As the sun climbed, the city's noises braided themselves into certainty. Nefertari paused beneath a sycamore, the world flickering through leaves like a friendly oracle. Her inner voice, pleased and merciless, summed the day. Bread inspected, shade funded, herald weaponized, goddess thanked. Water, she reached for a cup, remembered. She glanced back at the temple. Somewhere inside, the lioness smiled with all her teeth. The queen smiled back with all her plans. And the garden, sensing a new story to tell its lilies, began to rehearse the afternoon.